We're here from the Boxing Union, so we've got Stuart Little and Omar came along, active pro fighter, and obviously your Peter Fury. So Peter, how's things going with you, and how's training camp going with the Furies and Chambers, Eddie Chambers?
Yeah, it's going quite good. We're on course, and we're just training well, and everything's going well. We're on schedule. The training's very hard, it's intense, and it's just dedication and nothing else. It's we're looking forward to kicking off 014 with a good start. Yeah,
definitely. I should have said Happy New Year, but obviously we get.
Happy New Year to you as well.
All right, then, mate. Do you know who Tyson's opponent's going to be?
Yeah, we've got something called Basilio or Basili or something. He's an Argentinian. He's had 67 fights. He's won 60. He's about 6'6", a big thing with tattoos, big crude thing, so should be able to take some punishment.
You go a couple of rounds as well. So what about Huey? Do you know who he's fighting?
Well, we've offered James Toney. He's priced himself out of it. We've offered Jason Gavin from America. He doesn't want to know. Let me see. We've offered some Argentinian called Molly. He's number 47 in the world. That idiot's asked for 100 grand. so he hasn't got an opponent as of yet. No, as of yet, he hasn't got an opponent. You know, in Argentina, they should be fighting for 500 quid. There's that many.
Yeah. It's true. So let's talk about the deal. The deal with Frank Warren. Has that gone through now? That's definitely gonna happen now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on with it, and we've got a press conference on Monday. So we're there at the Copper Box all day to get things moving, and so we're all good to go.
Okay, all right. So how many fights is it? Is it a 3-fight deal?
It's a 3-fight deal, and the winner of the Chisora fight will probably be mandatory for the world title.
Okay. So will it see the fight? Will it be with Chisora with Tyson? Would that be for the European fight or just eliminator?
So, I've no idea, I've not gone into that. European titles don't mean anything to us anyway.
Oh.
We're just looking for on the world scene and getting him busy. Chisora's a good fight. He's not somebody to be took lightly, and it's going to be an interesting battle, I think.
Yeah. So what was Tyson's mindset if this obviously don't want to look too far ahead, we'll obviously get past this opponent. But what do you think Tyson's mindset going? Do you reckon he will try and stop him or just try and look good? And obviously, to put a message out to all the other heavyweights in the division.
What, in this fight on the 15th?
Well, this fight in the 15th, I heard you guys saying it's a warm-up thing. But against Chisora, how do you think his display is going to be? Do you reckon he's going to try and stop him, which would be quite impressive, or just look impressive going through the thing, or you're not really thinking about that? Just get the win and move on.
Yeah, we're not really, that fight's 3 fights away. It's going to happen sometime in June.
Yeah.
So we're just taking every opponent stage by stage now and doing what we need to do. That's why we picked this Basilio guy, because he's a big lump, and we should get good rounds out of him. So I'm hoping we can get 8 to 10 rounds out of this guy. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay then. Omar Cable, have you got a question for Peter Fury?
Yeah, Peter, just out of curiosity, you mentioned that Chisora versus Tyson is going to be the final eliminator. I was just wondering which one of the organizing bodies is it?
It could quite possibly be the WBO.
Okay, all right.
Okay then. Umar, you got any other questions for Peter?
No, that's just, I'm just interested in following this situation, how Tyson gets going, and obviously it's...
I've got a question for him, Errol.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Pete, how's it going?
It's going good, friend, thank you.
Obviously, you're getting a reputation now of being a real top trainer. I mean, what you've done with the Furies, and obviously Eddie Chambers coming over from America is proof that, you've got a bit about you. So do you see yourself bringing more Americans into the camp?
I'm interested in all people that I see as good fighters, and bringing them on. Eddie's a challenge for us. He's a nice guy as well. You've got to get on with people, and we've seen Eddie in Tyson's last training camp. So we know Eddie, and it's just transpired that he's come to work with us, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you how boxing's moved on when Americans have come into the UK to train with our trainers. I mean, it's just showing how UK boxing's coming. There's just one more question I wanted to ask you, Peter, because obviously with the Steve Cunningham situation with Tyson, he wasn't in the ring, and it was obvious Tyson had just lost the plot in that fight. He had no game plan. He had no game plan. I don't know what his agenda was, just to go out there and knock Cunningham's head off. I mean, you're the only guy that seems to be able to calm Tyson down. What's the situation if you get a big fight in America, and obviously with you travelling, have you sorted that now? Will you be able to join Tyson in his next fight if he's got a big fight in America coming?
Well, at the moment, there's not going to be any fights in America because you're absolutely right. I've got visa issues.
Yes.
So I'm currently on with that as we speak. It's I've just requested a certificate from the Home Office of my record. So all this paperwork's getting put together as we speak, and then it's going to get lodged. Excuse me. And we're optimistic that they're going to look favourably on it because it's been like 20 years since I was in trouble in my 20s. So I'm hoping that they'll look favourably on it, and we'll see how we go. But nothing's a cert. So.
Yeah, well, you're not the only one, Peter, because I'm actually banned from America myself from something I did when I was 17 years old. So we're both in the same boat there, mate. But yeah, obviously, that worries me a bit. Obviously, Tyson not having you in the corner, and that's why I just think the fight in America should be pushed aside until that visa issue is sorted, because Tyson totally lost the plot against Cunningham. And
yeah, you cannot box. You can't box without your trainer. Listen,
no.
We're every day together. Everything I say, he feeds off it. We feed off each other. It's almost sending somebody around a Formula racetrack with no backup in the cockpit.
Well, this is it, mate.
It's crazy, and it's not happening. I don't care what money's on the table. I don't care about anything. He's not fighting without my presence again.
And it's great to hear that, because that's what worries me. Because when I watched him fight Kingpin, I mean, it was just a boxing clinic. I mean, he could have got Kingpin out of there any time. I just thought it was just a superb game plan. And obviously that was a Peter Fury game plan. That was not a Tyson Fury game plan. And then when we got to see him against Cunningham, then obviously it was all over the place, and that's what worries me.
We had a game plan for Cunningham, and he just never applied it. When the first bell went, I was literally shocked. I was on the phone to my son who was ringside, and I said, "What the effing thing is he doing here?"
Yeah, well, I watched your interview with Bayloric TV, and I see what you're saying. You wasn't very happy with his performance.
No, but he's young Tyson. He went over there, let the occasion get to him. Everybody in the hotel. When you're not there, he's just thinking to himself, right, I'm just going to come out and try and do the damage. So you just live and learn, isn't it?
Well, this is it. Well, like I said, I'm glad I've got that sorted out with you, Peter, because that's what was worrying me with Tyson. Obviously, if he gets offered a big fight in America and then you can't go, and then he goes on one of them crazy ones again. So
Canada we can go. So if they want it, and it can be screened over there, so the time difference is the same. So Canada's okay, but definitely not the States until I get this resolved.
Yeah, definitely. I was just gonna say that actually. I was gonna say Canada would be really a good place if any of the heavyweights want to challenge you. So let's talk about with Huey. So with Huey, they're talking about Anthony Joshua. Do you see that fight? Would you like to have that fight?
Listen, it's about putting the best against the best, but I don't see the point in it just yet, because look, if they push it and they want it and they want to pay for it, look. My son can take a loss. They're the ones that's got all to lose, not us. This is a 19-year-old kid who's got a very good chance of winning anyway. So if they want to really push that down that route, no problem. Get the checkbook out. But basically, he's 25, he's Tyson's age, and my son's just 19. So there's a big disadvantage there. And I'm not on a boxing level, on a maturity level. My son's 6'6", he's a kid. Joshua's a fully set man. So there's a big difference there. It's not really on even Stevens, is it? When you look at the maturity.
Huey Fury's not a fight that you want to take if you're building a fighter up. I mean, if you've got Anthony Joshua in your camp, I mean, you're looking at Huey Fury and think, well, we'll give that one a miss, because obviously, like you said, Peter, he's a dangerous kid. He's hungry, and he can cause an upset. Well, and you've got to rebuild all over again. So that fight, I can't see Eddie Hearn coming with an offer on that one.
Well, to be honest with you, what they don't realise with my son is, he will be able to withstand them punches. You know, Tyson has full-flown spars with Huey, and Huey spars with everybody in the camp. And Huey's got one thing on the side, he's got a granite chin. So, and he's as tough as a brick. So basically, it's not a fight where Huey's going to go over. So I can guarantee that much. So what they like under pressure, God only knows, you know, we see. But Huey's a dangerous opponent, you're right, for anybody out there. He's not to be underestimated.
Yeah. Definitely. So what sort of stuff, you know, your training regime? What sort of things have you got them working on? The brothers working on, cousins and Fury. I'm just gonna call them Fury. What have you got them working on to you know, to make them better fighters? What exactly?
I'm being quite honest. You know, my training regime is brutal. You know, I don't have any qualms about it. You know, we're interested in world boxing, and the pain that they go through every day. You know, if you ain't got championship status in you, you're not hacking this camp, because I train the fighters very, very hard. You know, so, and they get the results they need, because look, the last thing I need them to do is get in that ring and lose because they're not in shape, they're not super fit, they're not mentally fit, not mentally focused. So the training regime is hard. It's 3 times a day. It's an hour cardio in the morning, but in that hour, it's what you do in the hour. These guys ain't got time to speak. They've got enough time to sip on a bottle, put it down, and away they go again. So they're training in the sand, they're doing sprints in the sand, they're doing circuits in the sand, they're jumping up high steps with the feet together, they're doing stairs, you know, you name it, they're doing circuits for weights, all crammed in within an hour. Every day is a different day. And then in the afternoon, we'll concentrate on heavy weights to build up the power, you know, which is, you know, we'll do like chest and arms one day, back a few days later, squats a few days later. So they're getting the best of all the training with the weights. And then in the afternoon, they got 2 hours of boxing.
Is this sparring each other? Because it's, you know, it helps with obviously the 2 boys around the same height, and obviously with the quick chambers. Who else have you got in the camp of sparring and stuff?
But, you know, we've got ourselves. You know, there's you and me, son, who spars Tyson. We've got Eddie Chambers here now. I've got Tyson's younger brother.
Yeah,
who's 18.
Is that Joseph? Is his name Joseph?
No, he's called Huey as well.
Oh, he's called Huey as well.
I had to call him Young Fury because there's just too many Hueys.
Oh, I get you. Because then you've got Joseph in the family as well. I believe I'm on him. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, I've got Joseph here. Joe's the comedian here. He makes everybody laugh.
Yeah, I mean, I followed him on Twitter the other day. So
yeah, he's sparring as well. You know, he's a big lad. He's 19 odd stone. So he does a lot of body sparring, head sparring. He's good sparring for the young one, you know, coming through, because he's turning professional. So they're all helping each other out here. And that's it. So we don't spar every day. We spar about 3 times a week, because can't really spar them every day. They get bruised up too much.
Yeah, I mean, heavyweight sparring's a lot different to obviously welterweight sparring and things like that. You know,
we don't go flat out.
These are big lads. These are big lads that obviously put a lot of damage on each other in sparring. And you know, when you're like 6'9" and you're 18 stone, it's a lot of work on your body, isn't it, to be sparring every day and doing road works and everything else.
Sure it is. They got enough to do. So in between the sparring days, we do a lot of pad work, and we work on a lot of technique. You know, whether it be the feet, the movements, and everything else. So, you know, we've got a good regime. You know, we pack everything in, and everybody gets good time. You know, it's hard work on me, because it's 2 hours. excuse me, 3 times a week. But it's got to be done. So they do like sparring one day, one evening, pads the next on technique, and then I asked them to apply what I've showed them in the ring and sparring. It's not just to spar. I want them to do the things we're working on.
Let's change the subject. Let's talk on the business level. So you and Eddie Hearn. I heard the interview recently about situation with Eddie Hearn and Smith. So I think it's Adam Smith. So could you enlighten the people, the YouTube guys listening, and the people listening, and what's going on with that, and how come it that, you know, is the Furies going to go back on Sky, and with the Deontay Wilder against Tyson, what happened with that?
There's nothing between me and Eddie Hearn whatsoever.
Okay.
You know, me and him's got no bad issues. I don't think so. You know, I've got nothing with him, and I've not had a bad word to say about him at all. I think he's doing a fantastic job in boxing. He's definitely busy. He's got a lot of fighters, and good luck to him. and that's it. I know his father as well, so nothing towards them.
Okay.
Peter, can I just ask about this Hennessy thing? Because obviously I'm a bit interested in this. What's the situation there? Because obviously Box Nation are going to be the TV coverage for you. But where does Mick Hennessy come into all this? I just don't get what his role is anymore.
Well, it's like Tyson said in one of these videos, we started from the bottom, now we're here. And, when we started from the bottom, the people where we are here now, everybody's coming with us. So,
I get you. So it's just based, yeah.
And Mick is with us. So Mick is part of it. He's a co-promotion with Box Nation because we've made it that way. We've also got our own promotions company, Fury Promotions. But at the end of the day, we've let Mick go in there, co-promote it with Box Nation because he's Tyson's promoter. So he's with us.
Yeah, to be fair to Mick, I mean, he gets a lot of stick off people, but he did make that David Haye fight for you, and that would have been a massive money for you. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the biggest coward in boxing, David Haye, now, so, anything's possible with this guy. But he did still make the fight, and you've got to give him credit for that, because that would have been a great earner for Tyson Fury.
Go ahead, Umar. Ask Peter the question.
Yes, Peter. You mentioned that you have your own promotional company, Fury Promotions. I was just wondering, are you guys planning to put up any cards anytime soon of your own?
Yeah, maybe so. We're just looking at it. It's here. We're our own people. We're working now with Box Nation, Frank Warren. We're working with Mick Hennessy. So we're happy to work with wherever the money fights are, whatever bills we can get them on. We're a free agent. We can take any fight we want.
Okay, so you're not planning to put up your own cards, like your own events for the Fury Promotions?
Not for the foreseeable future, because we're busy. We're tied up to dates anyway, so we're flat out where we are.
Right. Okay.
So are you still signing fighters? Because you just signed Eddie Chambers, which is a good find for you guys.
Yeah, we signed Eddie Chambers, and it just depends. It depends on the person. If I see what I think is a world-class heavyweight, and I'll have a look. It just depends, really. It's I'm not looking for fighters. No, that's the answer. If they come my way and they need any help, and I like them, and I want to help them, and I see potential there, then I will.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What I was asking again about the question with Adam Smith. What's happened with Sky? Yeah, if you can elaborate on that. With you guys.
Adam Smith, we made it quite clear, we've got nothing personal towards the guy. It's not we got a dislike for him or whatever. Adam Smith said something which wasn't nice on Sky about Tyson. So, and we've made that comment known. He called Tyson a pretender on the TV, and he pushed David A up through the roof. Well, look where David A is now. He shit himself. So at the end of the day, that's where we are. So I didn't like his comment, and we made it public. And I'm not going to kiss their ass because they've got Sky. Fuck them and fuck Sky. So I don't care about anything. When somebody does that and tries to be clever on national television, then we're speaking out about it. So maybe he's going to fight on Sky in the future, maybe not. We couldn't care less.
Oh, well, you made that clear. Definitely. Stuart, you got any more questions for Peter?
Yes. Obviously, Richard Schaefer's been going around saying that Tyson's
golden balls.
I can't stand the man, Peter. I just think he's just a rat. But he's obviously going around saying that Tyson ducked Deontay Wilder. But when we look at Deontay Wilder's record, there's a reason why this guy has fought nobody with a pulse. So I've got a feeling they're worried about that fight, and I think I believe they didn't want to take the fight, but they're obviously putting it onto you. What's your opinion on that?
There's a load of shit in it. Listen, we're straight talking people, and it's all what it is. It's bollocks that. We've offered them that fight, and to be fair, his trainer or his manager Diaz, he said, yeah, we'll take it, Peter. So everything was good. Sky said it wasn't a pay-per-view. They turned it down, which we've got in writing. Mick Hennessy's got it on his desk if anybody likes to see it. The people over there, according to Schaefer, they wouldn't pay for it. So Schaefer said it's not a fight for now. But we heard a comment from Schaefer that Tyson's ducking him and he's offered David A $8 million. Well, we said, listen, offer $4 million then. You've got the money, haven't you? Golden balls, we'll take it. So you put the money up, forget the TV, and let's fight him now.
Yeah,
so
see, that
was all dropped on deaf ears. Of course we'll fight Wilder. Wilder's a fantastic puncher. He's got probably the best punches in the business. But he hasn't even been hit back yet in 30 fights. And let me tell you, he hasn't fought anybody of any credibility.
No.
So the jury is totally out on this guy, and he has wobbled in his early fights, which, understandably, this is why they're cautious in who they fight. But, you know, look, they're building their guy up, good luck to him. But until he fights a credible opponent, we'll never know. And, it's a 75% chance he's going to buckle out of 100. So that's where we are, because we've seen it time and time again over history. The building up, and all of a sudden crash. You know, how many heavyweights have we got in America? You know, if you look up on the stats there's plenty of guys. You know, all right. You know, Malik Scott. No disrespect to Malik, a decent boxer. Didn't he get to 36-0 or something?
Yeah.
Well, Michael Grant was a Deontay Wilder back in the day, and Lennox Lewis just went through him, didn't he? I mean,
there you are. You know, you're stepping up on a world plate. This is all about money. You know, they're not silly, that Golden Boy. You know, obviously they're protecting their man. You know, they're not going to chance him until there's major bucks on the line. You know, because this is the business side of it. But to say we're ducking fights is absolutely ridiculous. We'd fight Wilder tomorrow. As a matter of fact, we'd like that fight above anyone else if we could get it.
That's the fight I want.
Schaefer needs to open his wallet. Mind you, he's a workman for Golden Boy, isn't he? So what does he know?
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, this gets me on to another question, Peter, because obviously this is going to be an interesting one for you. So Tyson obviously wins his fight, which I believe he will, and you know I think he's going to get a shot at Areola Stavern. I still think that's there for him, but obviously with your visa problems, that could prevent that. But if that does happen, and Tyson takes the title, and David Haye comes knocking on the door and says, "Right, I'll give you $5 million for a shot," what would your answer be?
Sorry, just repeat that again. If he says
if
what?
Tyson wins a belt, which I think he will, and David Haye comes knocking on the door saying, I'll offer you $5 million for a shot, what would your answer be after all that shit he's been giving you and all the money he's lost you? What would your answer be?
I'd say, don't even fucking phone me and put your money in an escrow account up front and we'll take the fight.
Brilliant.
That'd be it. Put your money in an escrow account, because all they're talking to me is out the window. It's valueless. The words mean absolutely nothing, do they? And,
no.
In their table, they couldn't even ring us up, because honestly, they'd have to go and send a text message asking for our bank details, put the 5 bar in it, and then we'll talk. Then we'll fight.
With the second fight, Peter, I'm quite surprised you didn't put a contract in there where if he pulls out, then he'd cover your sparring costs and things like that. Because obviously Tyson spent a fortune. I heard it was $100 grand in the two camps. That's what I heard. It could have been more.
It's getting on that way. I don't know the exact figures, but
yeah, I heard that's what it was.
We did ask for clauses to go in the contract. They refused it. Anything.
Yeah.
Which we knew by that they was going to pull out anyway. So that's where we were. So we tried putting clauses in, but they wasn't having any, because they knew what they was going to do.
So Peter, the Pulev situation, that would have been a really good fight. You reckon that might be on the cards again?
Yeah, it's possible. I know Pulev's mandatory now for Klitschko for the IBF. So anything's possible. But I think it's going to be a big year for Tyson. I see him getting a world title shot for sure. And
yeah, me too.
I think this is a big year. But there's one thing I can tell you. If we're lucky enough to get hold of that world title, we will be taking on the best out there.
You looking to unify the belts?
Yeah, 100%. You know, if we could get Vladimir in the ring, great, because we'd look for him straight away. But we'll see what happens. But anybody out there wanting to step up, we'll take it.
Definitely.
Just back on that thing, Errol, because I've remembered what I was saying now. I was just saying about David Haye. Now, when the second fight was announced, I watched an interview with Coogan with Tyson's wife, Paris. And obviously she's a lady herself. And when she's saying she can't see the fight happening, then it got me worried. I mean, when Tyson's wife's saying, I've got a feeling David Haye's going to pull out again. And it actually happened again. So David Haye, for me, I mean, obviously Tyson Fury's gained a lot of fans off David Haye, because I was a big David Haye fan myself. Can't stand the man now for what he's done to Tyson. So I suppose the only good thing to come out of that situation is that you've gained a lot of David Haye fans, Peter.
Well, look, that's not taking anything away from David Haye. We've got nothing personal towards him as a human being. It's just the way that they've gone about this, no consideration for anybody. 12 months they've asked us around. And don't forget, they asked us for the fight as well. We didn't go approaching them with our cap in our hand. They come to us. And, I was straight talking with them. I said, well, he said to me, Adam Booth, he said, can I ask you a straight question? It's laughable now, isn't it, a straight question? I said, yeah. will you take this fight? Are you interested? I said, if the money's right, we'll take it. He said, well, we'll just do a 50-50. I said, that'll do, we'll have it. So that was it. It was easy on our side.
Yeah.
They asked us and we said yes.
Yeah.
So there was no need for all this palaver, all this shenanigans, what transpired after.
Yeah, well, that was an Eye for London. I saw that. I think, was that the first time you guys actually talked that time? Or that was actually Tyson and Adam who actually saw that time. And they said after that, yeah, call you after that. And we must have been shortly after Tyson was appeared on Channel 5, and it must have been around that time. But that's, you know, the way things have worked out. You know, it's when you've got Eddie Chambers on board, you know, out of something bad comes something good. So you've got a bit exposure. You've got some new guys in your camp, and you move on. You're moving on to bigger and better things.
100%. No, listen, Hay and his camp, they can do whatever they want. This is past things. I think everybody with a pulse knows what's happened. So let's just move on.
Yeah.
We move on from that scenario, and we're looking forward to bigger and better things.
Definitely. Umar, you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, Peter, I was just curious. Have you ever worked with any other weight class fighters besides heavyweights in the past?
Yeah, excuse me. I've worked with a couple of middleweights. I've got a nephew who's a light middle. I got him the Celtic title. He fought for that, and he's got married now, so I think he's finished with boxing. And yeah, I've worked with a few guys. I've helped another guy in K1. He's now a Glory World Champion. So, you know, I've worked with a few people, but just out of being helpful, really. Not to anybody signed to us. You know, I've just done it as a favour.
Right. So you're not interested in future working with other weight classes, like signing into your promotion and so on?
Yeah, if some top fighters approach me, it's another matter. There's a business at the end of the day. So, but I'm not looking for fighters.
Right. Okay.
Okay. What was I going to say again? Yeah. So you know what? It's going to be an interesting year for 2040 for the Huey boys and Eddie Chambers. So I've looked on the boxer. So Eddie hasn't got a fight in it. Do you know where he's going to fight? It's going to be in London. Do you know?
Yeah, Eddie's going to fight. We're trying to get him a fight now for some time in March. After that, can you hear me?
Yeah, still here. Go ahead.
Yeah, sometime in March, and then he's definitely out in April, which will be on Tyson undercard on Box Nation with Huey. So the three will be on the same show on that one. In May, Huey and Eddie will be on a Channel 5 show on Mick Hennessy's show.
That's great.
And in June, we'll get Eddie a decent fight. He'll have a decent step-up fight on the Derek Chisora undercard. So that's what we're looking at there. So Eddie's going to be busy. By June, he should have had 4 fights.
Wow, that's really good for him. You've moved his career on tremendously. I mean, he's a very gutsy fighter. I've talked to him quite a few times, actually. I've talked to him like 2 times. I actually talked to him just before he fought Chavizo at Cruiserweight, and me and him was having a good conversation about how he felt when he moving down, and obviously and now he's moving back. And you've got his career going. He feels, from his interviews, he's more invigorated. Actually, tried to call him. His phone's off, obviously, because you guys are in France, by the way, so I can understand why. And yeah, he seems invigorated with obviously being in camp, and it seems like it's working very well. And yeah, man, it looks like everything's up on the way. Go on.
Well, we're going to get Eddie around. He's going to be competing around 15-11, 16 stone, and obviously he won't have a peck of fat on him. You know, he's already up around 15-7 at the minute. So he's responding physically. He's responding very well because all of his food was wrong. All of his diet was wrong. He was at a false weight. So you know, it didn't belong to him. He is a big guy, Eddie. You know, he's 6'1", and he's got the frame. And you got to really see him up close to see the size of him. But he's filling out tremendously. So I'm looking forward to getting him out. He's very fast. He's got a lot of skill, and he hits with. We're working on now with the power shots. You know, when he puts the shots in, he can hit with power.
Yeah.
But we're changing him round a hell of a lot because where he's just been boxing and just tapping the target, you know, and pot shotting everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, now it's a different story. He's punching through with the shots, planting his feet more, stepping to the side. You know, more aggressive, throwing a lot more shots. We've got him throwing combinations rather than pot shotting. Yeah. You know, doubling up and tripling up the jab. So the speed needs to go with the ability. You know, so. There was a lot of things wrong with it all. You know, he's got all the ability in the world. It was just one thing's only got to be failing, and the rest will fail. You know that anyway.
That's good. You know, you actually, it seems like you've improved in your style to make him a more crowd pleasing fighter. I mean, you're gone.
This is it. You know, we're giving him explosive power. You know, so he's got the weight, he's got the explosiveness, and more than anything, he's 100% fit to keep them shots coming and coming fast. So yeah, I'm not looking for somebody to send me to sleep over 10 rounds. I'm looking for him to get in there and do the job.
This is the problem with a lot of American fighters, Peter. They fight on the back foot, don't they? You know, the Malik Scotts, and they're pretty to watch. But in Europe, we're just not going to take to that too often. Do you know what I mean?
And let's be obvious as well. Tyson and Huey are excellent sparring for Eddie because they're keeping him on the end of the jab, and it's up to Eddie to roll in because the guy's 6'1" and he's crouching down. He's not going to win a jab competition with Tyson or Huey, is he? He's got to get in, get the range, cut it down, and work in and move on angles in range.
Because he's actually not a small guy. He's actually bigger than David Haye if you're going by that weight, I think.
Yeah, he's going to be. He's definitely. He's not a small heavyweight. You know, and this is the thing. When he went down to cruiserweight, he was on a vegan diet and he was eating next to nothing, a few boiled eggs or something. So basically, as soon as we got him here and put him on the right diet, he just went back up to his natural what he is. He's a natural 15+ stone man anyway.
Definitely. So what do you reckon of so this Lucas Brown discussion? So it seems like Tyson's up there. Do you reckon Huey maybe be able to fight a Lucas Brown or something like that at that level?
Well, we're definitely up in Huey's level of competition this year. So you know, we've tried to get Jason Gavin in for Huey. He's turned it down from February the 15th from America. We've tried to get James Toney. He's asked for 60 grand. Don't know where he's coming from. It's ridiculous again. We've asked another guy who's asked for the 100 grand over there, the Argentinian. So, you know, we're trying to make the fights for Huey. And I think, we're looking at a few. I think we offered Tom Dallas the other day. So we've not heard back from them. So this is where we are.
What about Towers, Peter?
Yeah.
What about Richard Towers?
Yeah, it's quite possible. You know, let's just see now. We're going to get him. We're going to get him out the way. Get him his first fight back on the 15th of February. Then he's out again on the 1st of March on Channel 5. So he's busy. He's got 2 fights in a couple of weeks there, and then we're looking out to. But then we'll step him up again in April. So the likes of Towers and people like this them options are open.
Yeah, so, I mean, Errol, with this, it just shows you that fighters are avoiding Huey. If they want 100 grand to fight him, and obviously James Toney wants 60 grand. I mean, when you look at some of the fees being paid around in boxing, it's tell you that they're pricing themselves out. Because obviously Lamont Peterson only got $60,000 to fight Amir Khan. I believe Tony Thompson only got 30 grand to fight David Price. So you know, these are quite decent names that are fighting for peanuts. And then when you got nomads wanting 100 grand, I mean, just shows you. They're obviously ducking, aren't they?
Yeah, they just need to say we don't want that fight.
Yes,
you know, rather than talking telephone numbers. Stupid, isn't it?
That's right.
So Lucas Brown. So Lucas Brown. Is there a perceivable fight for that? Because the fans would love to see that fight. You know, I wouldn't mind Lucas Brown for Eddie Chambers. Yes.
I think that's a better fight. I think Lucas is ahead of Huey on experience level. I think he's further along than Huey. He's not at Tyson's level, but you know we've got to speak fairly. You know, Huey's had 12 fights. Lucas he's had 20 or something. he's fought a higher level than Huey has. So you know, he deserves a crack at probably somebody that's higher rated. So I think that'd be a good fight between him and Eddie.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's dying for a fight right now to come over. So I think he'd jump on the offer. I think if you put the offer to him, like whenever you're ready, and I think he'll jump on a Box Nation card. I think that'll be an excellent fight.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that.
I'd definitely come to watch that fight. You know,
well, I'll tell you what, we'd definitely be interested in that on the undercard of Chisora. So if he's interested in fighting Eddie Chambers on that undercard with Chisora with Tyson, and you know, there's the match. So that can be made.
Yeah, like I think I'll try and get in contact with him, try later on today, and try and get him to give you guys a call in and see if you can make that fight, boy. Because we'd love to see.
Listen, I like Brown. I think he's a big heavyweight. You know, fair dues to him. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
So
he looks the part and all, don't he? He does look the part.
He does, and he's a nice guy as well.
Yeah, he is. He's a very nice guy.
Just with Fury, Peter. Obviously, I watched a lot of his fights last year. I think he had 10, 11 fights in a year. I'm not sure how many fights. It seemed like he had 11 anyway. I mean,
he's had 12 in 8 months.
Wow.
God dear. I mean, is it time to take the foot off the pedal with him a little bit, because he started to look a bit tired and weary in his last fight?
Well, he did. Yeah, he was tired and weary, but I can tell you now he's back in full vigour. He's weighing at the moment 18 stone. The last time he boxed, he was like 16.7. So he's filled out a lot since then. So people's going to see a bit of a big change in you.
Yeah, well, like I said, this is a 19-year-old kid, and he's an absolute monster. So there's obviously great things ahead for the Furies, definitely.
Well, this is what I'm saying about, putting him in against, big-name fighters and putting him in too soon. You've only got to look back. The last fight he had was, I think, November. And, since November to now, he's gone another 1.5 stone heavier. He just looks the same. He's just a bigger lad. He's a big kid. The 6'6". People need to realise they're still growing, and he's going to grow Yui up until he's 23, 24-year-old. So
exactly, he's going to grow into his power as well, Peter. Because that's obviously he's not growing into his power. Young boys don't grow into their power, do they? Till they hit their mid-20s, sort of things. So
exactly.
Definitely, I can see. In the foreseeable future, you could actually have the Furies dominating the heavyweight division. Both Furies having a belt, like the Klitschko's, eh?
Well, I'll tell you what we've got.
Would they fight each other if that happened?
No,
of course not. But I just that ask that. But go on, Tyson, Peter, go ahead.
I'll tell you what. If dedication's got anything to do with it and commitment, then they'll definitely get there. Because Yui has boxed all of his life. Tyson ain't much different. So they've all done very well in the amateurs. I think Tyson had 30 something fights with 26 knockouts. As an amateur. Yui had 40 something. Tyson, they've all won medals, gold medals, bronze medals, silvers, whatnot. They've come through properly as young kids growing up. So these two has got pedigrees with them.
Yeah.
So they really should go all the way, to be honest.
Pete, I mean, that's why you should give yourself credit, because obviously in the Travellers, there's a lot of tough Traveller boys. I mean, they're all fighters, aren't they? From when they're born to fight. But obviously, a lot of them don't get big in boxing. I mean, I think the last Traveller boy I remember doing well in boxing was Henry Wharton, if you can remember him.
Yeah, of course. Henry was a very good fighter.
Yeah, and he was a very good fighter. But a lot of the Traveller boys haven't really. I think, is it dedication, or is it, like I said, marriage with your nephew? You got married, and what is it? Because these boys are tough. You wouldn't want to fight them in a pub. So why are they not doing it in the boxing ring?
I think a lot of Travellers are very good amateurs because the kids, and they got nothing else to do, and they go to the gyms. But unfortunately, Travellers, they have to go out and earn money. So they put out to work. They get a car or they get a van, and then they get a girlfriend, and that's the end of boxing. So, This is where the talent is there, I think now time's changing. I think
with Billy Joe Saunders not coming through, and
Yeah, he's a phenomenal talent. He is.
Yeah.
He's just got to work on his physique a bit more, and he's coming on him. He's definitely got the ability to go all the way. He's a world class talent.
Have you noticed with Billy Joe Saunders, he actually fights like a black American fighter, doesn't he?
I like him when he's on the foot and he uses a jab and he boxes,
Yeah, he does.
He's got a little bit of Tyson's mentality. He'd rather have a fight than having a boxing match, but sometimes you need to use the brains and box.
Yeah, because he lacks the power, Peter. He just lacks power at the moment, and so he needs to use his boxing skills, because obviously he's making these fights a lot harder than they should be.
I think it's like anything else, his physique could improve. Definite, but he's got all the ability. When he boxes, and it's not called boxing for nothing, is it? A good boxer will always beat a good fighter. It's always the case. So
always,
if he uses his boxing brain, works behind the jab and moves, he's got enough power to hit anybody. He just needs to box and stop getting involved. Roughly similar to what Tyson does, really. Box rather than wanting to have a war.
Definitely.
Tyson can box. He proved that against Kevin Kingpin Johnson, that Tyson has a great boxing pedigree. But you just wouldn't have known watching it against Cunningham. You just, he just come in there swinging bombs. That was it.
Yeah, exactly. He is a very, very. A lot of people see the downsides with Tyson, but Tyson's an unbelievable trainer. There's nobody can match him in physical attributes. You're looking at a guy 6'9", 250 key deadlift. You know, you're looking at somebody who can run 10 miles and have a laughing and joke while he's running it. You're looking at somebody who can do a 100 metre sprint and leave everybody for dead in the dust.
Yeah.
You know, this lad is a serious athlete. It's almost, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. He will train anybody under the table.
And do you think that's where Klitschko is probably a bit worried? Because obviously he uses his athleticism and his physique and obviously his strength to wear fighters down and then just pick them apart when they're knackered. Well, he can't do that, Tyson. He can't get on Tyson's back and lean over him and drain his legs and things like that. He can't do that, Tyson, because he's a bigger guy. So that's obviously a worry for Klitschko, and that's probably why he will avoid that fight.
Yeah, we've only tipped the iceberg with Tyson. People's not seen anything what he's really capable of. But in these coming fights this year, you will be seeing it. And there's some interesting things we've been working on with Tyson, and people's going to get a shock because when he comes, when it's time to turn it on, he'll turn it on. And, you know, we've been working on a lot of things, and main sore than anything is improving his defence and working on his boxing skills.
Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you about the training camp. So you got the I think the last training camp was it in Belgium or was it in France?
Belgium.
Yeah, and now you're into France. So how come the question? The training camps, it's a good thing that you've got different training camps around the world, and that was that purposely designed to just keep you away from all the all the media thing, pressure and bother, just to get out there and try different camps? Or what was the thought behind changing camps around the world in Belgium and France?
Well, not really, because I've lived in I've lived in Belgium. I've got a place there, so we train there. You know, I live here in France. I've got a place here, so we train here. Oh. Now, I've sold up. I'm selling up in Belgium, so now I'm full time living in France because this is where I want to live. So it's an ideal climate, ideal training facilities, and I prefer it here. So we're going to base all of our camps now from here, and not unless we get a fight in Canada or wherever, and we've got to go there before. So we probably have the main camp here and fly out 3 weeks before or something. That's if we're going different time zones. But mainly, all the camps now will be from the south of France.
Oh, this is definitely a good look. Did you see the heavyweight fight between Perez and the French guy recently?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that guy? Would you think bringing that guy into for sparring as well, or to?
Yeah, sure. You know, they said it was a poor fight, but I didn't think so. I think that guy is a lot better than people think. He's no mug. That Takam.
Yeah.
You know, he's we know about him here in France. You know, and that guy is unbeaten. He's got one loss on his record against Gregory Tony. But that was a favourable decision on Tony, to be honest.
Yeah.
And early on in his career. The guy can fight, you know, so let's not take anything away from Perez. He'd had a hard fight. He shouldn't have been in that fight anyway.
No, he shouldn't.
He's had a hard, grueling fight there, and within 6 weeks or a month, he's back in.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy that, because he had a hard fight himself. Although he won it convincingly, might be unanimous, he took a lot of stick himself. Yeah. So basically, it wasn't an easy fight, so fighters don't recover that quick. He should have had at least 3 or 4 months out, and then come back into camp.
Yeah. He's because he's mental, innit? He looked like he was struggling. He looked like he wasn't there. He looked like, to be honest with you, if Takam would won the fight, I don't think he'd have been bothered. Sappy just lucky got a draw. It was the
same with Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank, Carol. These guys, they lost their killer instinct when they put someone in a, you know, they hurt someone badly, put them in a coma, and they lost their killer instincts after that. I mean, both was never the same. Maybe Perez will be the same. His mind didn't look in the fight for me. He looked all over the place. It's like Peter said, his fitness was atrocious. I just think that fight was far too early for him.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely. So see with Tyson now, obviously it's been a long time since his last fight was Cunningham and that. Do you reckon there might be any ring rust in his thing? That's obviously that's why you're gonna try and work it off with the opponent coming up in February the 15th.
Yeah, sure. You know, this is why I'm saying I want 8 to 10 rounds, so as he can shake it off and get used to the ring again. And this is why we're having a couple of fights before Chisora to build it up and get him back where he was in full swing, the timing, the distance, and everything else. You can train as much as you want. You need the fights.
Yeah, definitely.
You see, I had this conversation with someone the other day about Chisora, and I just see it sounds a good fight on paper, but for me, I just think Tyson's just levels above him. I mean, a terrible Tyson Fury out of shape beat him. So what is a in shape Tyson Fury going to do to this guy? So I get where the fight's coming from. Obviously, big British battle, but I just think Tyson Fury's levels above Derek Chisora, to be honest with you.
We had a lot of comments last time that Chisora wasn't training, he wasn't in shape, and now he is. And to be fair, he is in shape now, and they're both. Let's put it this way: they've both come a long way since then. So we have to see. Styles make fights; anything's possible.
But he will bring it. Chisora will bring it. We definitely know that.
Yeah, of course. It's going to be an entertaining fight, whatever happens. He definitely comes to fight Chisora, and he's got Tyson's respect because Chisora will fight anybody, and that's what Tyson likes.
Yeah.
So this is another reason Tyson's took the fight, because he said, I'd rather fight people like Chisora all day long than be messed around with this hay scenario. So at least he knows Chisora's going to fight.
Yeah.
And Chisora will fight with an injury as well. He'll just turn him. He'll fight with an injury. It's not like David A, who sprains a finger and then he's pulling out of fights. He's
a proper character. To be fair to him as well, he's been around. He's fought the best. I'll tell you what. I felt sorry for him when he fought that Talenius, because what a robbery! He got robbed to death there. Yeah. That Talenius as well. I never seen anything like. He got beat to pieces. Them judges must have had a right night out before. That's all I can say.
I know. Well, we had a good laugh on our show the other night because we do a boxing show, and we had one of the callers call in, and we did a heavyweight tournament, the 4 that we thought would, when the Klitschko's retire, a tournament of 4 to take the belts, and we picked obviously Tyson, Deontay Wilder, Pulev, and Stavern. Well, a guy rang in not very happy because Robert Helena should be in there ahead of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. I mean, me and Errol, we just couldn't stop laughing, could we, Errol?
Nah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, listen, that guy needs an haircut as well, I see him on the telly. He's definitely a weird-looking character, but I think, he got beat fair and square.
Yeah.
It's obvious to see it put him out of action, didn't it? He'll never be the same after that fight because Chisora battered him to death.
Yeah,
he
did.
And Chisora's not a big puncher either, is he, Peter? He's a fair puncher. He's not a massive puncher, is he?
No, he's not. He's a volume puncher. Chisora. He's not classed as a big puncher, but he was definitely too much for him. But it's one of them things. Robberies happen. So,
especially when you go into Europe and around the Eastern European countries.
If he fought Helenius again anywhere else, Chisora will probably stop him this time.
I can't see us seeing Helenius again. I mean, this Finnish guy, that Umar guy I was talking to earlier, he's from Finland, the same place. He's saying he's been having problems and he's been having family issues and injury issues, and he's coming back. But I just can't see it, mate. I just don't.
Helenius is a good domestic fighter. He's not on a world level. He's not going to be a world champion. So that's just the reason completely.
Yeah.
Yes. What's your take on David Price? Do you reckon that's a possible fight for one of the Furies?
Yeah, anything's possible. David can come back. He can keep training and and do the best he can. We have to see. He's had a very bad start, and let's face it, things can't get any worse for him, can they? He was on top of the world. Overrated, which he was.
Favourite to beat Tyson in many people's eyes.
Yeah, he was walking the floor with Tyson on many occasions. Tyson was terrified of him. We've heard all this crap. So basically, the thing is, he can't get anywhere. So from being on a high, he's at the lowest. So basically, he's got to get his mind right and think, well, look, I've been out there now. It can't get any worse for me. I can only get better. And he's got to buckle in and concentrate on his boxing. He's got boxing skills. I don't know what happened to him, whether he's conditioned or whatever. But again, ultimately on a world level, will he get there? No, he's not. That's my honest opinion. He's good. He can fight for a world title. He's got a chance. Listen, he's got equally as chance. He's got a chance to do anything. But to win a world title, you have to say no the way his punch resistance is.
Exactly. I mean, the problem. I think as soon as Tyson hits Price, it's over. I mean, his punch resistance is shocking. I mean, it's not that he just gets hurt. He doesn't know what to do when he gets hurt, and that's the problem. He freezes, he turns his back, he keeps his hands down. I mean, I just don't see that being a close fight at all.
And this is my opinion. I'm not talking about Price now. I'm talking about everybody. You can tell a lot and judge how these people are. It's like your DNA. You can see how they are coming through the amateurs. Now Tyson and Huey, they was never stopped. They was never get standing 8 counts in the amateurs. They just went right through. Yeah. Now you look at these Wilder, Price. They was all stopped. They was all rocked. They all had very bad amateur records. They got stopped. Now, I'm not being funny. You've got head guards on. It's amateur boxing, for Christ's sake. So if you're being wobbled, it goes through with you 9 times out of 10 in the professional ranks as well. And
aren't there 16-ounce gloves in the amateurs as well?
Well, the big gloves, yeah. In the professional game, look, amateur boxing is a sport. Professional fighting is prize fighting. It's a different game altogether. You can get seriously injured. Yeah. So basically, it's on a whole different platform. So if you're getting wobbled and hurt in the amateurs, it's a foregone conclusion. When you get caught up within the pro ranks, you've got a severe issue coming. And this is it. So when you're looking on world-class boxing here, let's have a good look at it. We can hope, we can do this, we can do that. We're all looking in the shit pond because there's no real class about. We ain't talking about the 90s, the 80s and the 70s when fighters could fight. We're picking and choosing and making the best of what we got. But really, what is out there, really? That's going to be an ultra world heavyweight champion. We just don't know, do we?
No. I mean, you're 100% right, Peter, with the amateurs and the pro game. I mean, Lucian Butte, this guy was being tipped to be, he was the best super middleweight in the division at one time, better than Ward, apparently, to some people. And this guy got knocked out by Golovkin in the amateurs. So I always knew that, and obviously Golovkin's a smaller guy than him, I always knew that this guy had obviously chin issues, and as soon as he got in there with Froch, a big puncher who's going to bring it to him, it just showed he did, and he didn't know what to do when he was getting hurt, and he just sat back on the ropes and took bombs, and he's not the same man now. I mean, he never will be the same.
No.
Oh, well, people go on about Vladimir Klitschko, where he got knocked out and he come back. Well, let's not forget, Vladimir Klitschko was a gold medalist.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and a good fella, and he'd had fights and he lost his way a bit, and he's corrected his defence, and them brothers are two of the most dedicated fighters on the planet. So not everybody's like them. They're one in a billion, 1 in a million, one in whatever. People can't judge off that. Everybody's different. But
where would you put the Klitschko's, Peter, in the all-time great list of heavyweights? Would you put them up there in the top 10, 20?
Yeah, I would. Why not? They've achieved things, world titles, they've held the belts. Vladimir Klitschko does his job. And, to be so dedicated after the amount of success he's had and still be in the camps, like he does, and comes in shape. The man does what he's got to do. He's definitely, they definitely belong there.
I mean, they put the cameras in, let you see his training regime. It was like Ivan Drago training against Rocky in Rocky 4. I mean, the guy had everything but steroids pumped into him, so he's definitely a dedicated athlete. And that's what makes these guys the best. When you look at Floyd Mayweather, the guy's in the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning instead of being in nightclubs. That's what separates the top level from the ones just below, isn't it, Pete? And
this is what's going to separate this family of mine above anybody else, because they train unbelievable. And every day's the same, and they never look up and say, I don't feel like this today. They didn't say that to me anyway. But basically, they get on and do it without question. And let me tell you, if you want to win a world title, that's a world championship. That's not an easy feat. If there's any weaknesses at all, you'll see it in the training of them. I tell them straight, you'll say, listen, you're not ready, or whatever. But, when somebody trains it and they want something bad enough, and they're dedicated, and they've got all the tools, they just need sharpening, then there's no reason why they shouldn't get there.
Definitely. Well, definitely. Stuart, we're gonna work. Hey, this has been a great interview. Stuart, you wanna you think you was asked Peter about the Boxing Union podcast that we have?
Yeah, we have a new podcast that we've opened. We've been going 3 weeks. It's basically, we've opened this up to get the European and UK fighters out there, and we've obviously got we've really grown. I mean, we've got over 6,000 followers on Facebook. We're doing, like, each podcast is doing over 1,000 downloads. We've only been going a few weeks, so it's really, and we're getting the fighters out. We've got interviews with Patrick Mendy and Eric the Eagle, Ochion and all them, and obviously we'd love to get you on. We'd love to get you on, Peter, when you've got time, mate, because obviously you're one of the best interviewers out there. I mean, everyone wants to get an interview with Peter Fury at the moment because you keep it real, and there's not a lot of guys out there that do that. So we're just wondering if we could get you on the show one time when you're free.
Listen, it's always a pleasure for me because I live and breathe boxing. When I'm not boxing, I'm looking at boxing on the telly. So
yeah, brilliant. So
boxing, everything. So no problem for me at all.
So do you mind if the Boxing Union quickly add you on Skype then, and we can talk about a future interview?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Brilliant, Pete. Thanks.
That's great. All right, Peter, man, we appreciate your time. What have you got planned for today? You training the boys today, or is it a time?
Yeah,
off?
you know, no. We trained at 8 o'clock this morning.
Mm-hmm.
We trained at 12 o'clock, and now we're back in the gym at 5 o'clock for 2 hours boxing. And today is my easy day because I just sit back, watch the sparring, and pick holes in it.
Oh, you're filming. You're watching the recording of the sparring right now.
No. At 5 o'clock we go to the gym and they'll be sparring live in the gym.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, that sounds really good. All right, Peter. Hey, we appreciate your time, Peter. And we hopefully to continue talking to you in the progress with the boys and that, and Eddie Chambers. Yeah. Thanks for your time, Peter.
It's been great.
Thanks, Peter. We'll get the interview up on our show and that lot, and we'll get it out on Twitter.
That's great. All the very best to you.
Okay,
Cheers,
thanks, Peter. Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
All right, bye.